Howdy, Fi Guys. I don't know how else to say this. I am in crisis mode. I am 30 years old and my husband is 31. We had our first baby this year, and ever since she arrived, I've been spiraling. I look at her tiny little face and I feel enormous pressure to give her a better future. That's when the panic hits. We're hardworking people. We've done all the right things, in quotations, got degrees, landed decent jobs, but we're buried under a mountain of debt that feels impossible to climb. Between credit cards, cars, and student loans, including $220,000 from my husband's expenses, credit cards, my husband's expensive law school. Gotcha. Yes, law school is quite expensive. And $40,000 of my own master's program, understandable. We're staring down a number so big, it makes me want to vomit. A very natural response, honestly.
Yeah.
A very natural and very common response. Okay. We owe about $13,000 in credit card debt, and we're hustling to pay $1,200 a month towards it. Our cars still carry about $10,000 in debt, and those student loans, well, they've been in forbearance for years. Thankfully, interest-free. Very good. But they haunt us every single day. They feel like they're ghosts sitting on the corner of every conversation about our future. We can't even think about buying a home or having another child, not with the weight crushing us. Right now, I'm staying at home with my daughter till she turns 1. Then I'll return to work part-time. My husband, who makes $140,000 plus a bonus totaling around $168,000. And while that might sound like a lot to some, it barely feels like a life raft in the oceans of obligations. Nice. Our goal is to be debt-free by 40. That gives us 10 years. It feels pathetic to admit that this is the best case scenario, but honestly, all we can hope for right now. But it's all that we can hope for right now. The only plan we have is to keep tackling it piece by piece. Credit cards first, my loans, then his. But I feel like we're trying to dig out of the Grand Canyon with a plastic spoon. Good Arizona reference. I like that. We want out of this life of fear and limitation. We want the freedom to dream again, to imagine a home, more children, or even just a break from the financial tension that keeps us up every night. I'm writing because I'm desperate for some perspective. Is there still hope? Is this climb even possible for us? Or is it just too far gone? Interesting. Thanks for all that you do. I love your honesty, your heart, and your no-nonsense advice. I need a dose of all three right now. From scraping by, but still reaching high, because I'm drowning in debt, but I'm not done yet. Love that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. We got two 30-year-olds making some good chunk of cheese with a large debt looming over them. Where should we start with this one, Chris?
Yeah, this one hits me pretty hard because I relate to it so much. Like, I understand the fear. I understand the frustration. I also understand the love for the child. And like, for me, like, this person has a child. Like, I don't even have my child. And like, everything that I'm doing is for a future child. So I get that. I also want to just talk, before we even go into all this, how crazy it is that we have a system in which people want to have kids, but they can't. Not because of their inability to make kids, but because of financial constraints. And we have a government right now that's like, oh, hey, how about this? We'll give you $6,000 one time to have a baby. As if that makes up for like the mountains of debt that we're all in because we went to school, like these people did, to better our lives, because without going to school, we were told that we were going to be freaking on the sides of the streets. Insane how much we have taken care of one group of people at the expense of our youth, at the expense of our generation. And that's not to sit here and complain and just bitch and say like, well, so we shouldn't even try. There's still the most important part. And what are you going to do about it? This is the situation we find ourselves in. What are you going to do about it? So to our listener, you're not broke. You're not lost. You're just stuck in debt's heavy, heavy clutches. It sounds like you have a cash flow trap. And I promise you, there is a way out. This is not going to be the final time. You continue to grow. You might never reach financial independence. You might never reach nirvana. And this is the important part. Nirvana isn't real. Happy ever after isn't real. The journey is the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And on this journey of getting better, you will be in a better place every step of the way. Occasionally, there will be steps back. You'll take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's true. And you are still moving forward. Now, before I run the math and everything, Dominic, what do you have to say about this one?
No, I think it's nice starting out with a message of hope. I think that's a beautiful way to frame the conversation, right? Especially when we start, we're about to get into the numbers of it, the weeds of it all. No, I think it's a sad place in our society where it's like it costs so much just to be better from a professional standpoint, right? And we do need more kids in this life. We do need more humans on the planet. I know some people think that we're overpopulated. Some people think we're underpopulated, right? But no, I think they're not done yet. They got a bright future ahead of them. They just have to get through a little bit of the weeds first. So I'm anxious to hear what you have to say on the numbers aspect.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, you have your baby girl and that gives you a strong why. And like Viktor Frankl said, a strong enough why can bear any how. And that's from somebody who went through 5 different concentration camps to make it out to see his wife and kids who on the other side weren't there. So you can make it through some pretty hard things as long as you're doing it with the right aim, with the right intention, with the right values driving you. And I can't think of a stronger value than the children that you're going to leave to this world. So when you say you have $168,000 roughly in income, let's say that's $10,000 a month net after taxes. So where is all that going? Because $13,000 of credit card debt doesn't come out of nowhere, and it's not going to last forever. So are you currently spending $10,000 a month on home, eating out, everything? It's going to be the first thing that I say to pretty much everyone. And this is where we start with majority of people. Where's the money going? You know how much money is coming in. That's really good. This is something crazy. About 50% of people that I talk with, maybe 60, have zero idea how much money they make. They just give me these crazy ass numbers that are off the top of their head. They'll say ranges of I think it's like 50 to 100. Okay. And it's like, okay, that's a really big range. And what you can do at 50K and what you can do at 100K are 2 very different things. If you want to go on a trip, like even a vacation, a few $1,000s is going to make a very big on should I go on this trip or not? So you need to know how much money you're coming in. And luckily there's an easy way to do that. The IRS basically forces you to do it every single year. How much money did you come so that they can take their taxes from you? So that's a good way to get started. Is how much money are you making? You know that information. Now you have to find out the harder information. How much money are you spending? And is it going to places that are going to help you? Because you need to make sure that majority of the money right now is going at least that credit card debt. The student loans, the car payments, the home loans, I don't know what the interest rates are on those. That's something that can wait. So let's go ahead and create maybe a roadmap just to have a little bit of a plan in place to at least show you that there's hope. So let's say you have $13,000 in credit cards, you get $10,000 a month. I don't know what your expenses are. This is the hard thing. But I know that you said that it's going to take you 10 years to pay it off. I say we shoot for the moon and say, let's try to pay it off in 5 years.
Yeah.
And if you end up short of that, you end up at 7 years. Hey, it's better than nothing. Shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars, suffocating in the cold embrace of space. So credit cards, I would say give it 6 months. 6 months of putting everything you possibly can at it. Any extra money, you're not going out to eat. You're not going out for fun movie nights. You're just staying in your, home with the kid. Husband's going to work. You're just buckle down time. Credit cards to me is like a hair on fire situation. With credit cards, there's a lot of times where I'll say okay, we want to invest and we want to pay off debt. If it's like mortgage, if it's student loans, if it's low interest rates. If it's something like credit cards, 15, 20, 30% interest rates, you're not going to outpace that with investing. Unless you know what the future holds. And if you do, then give me a call and let me know what's going to happen tomorrow, because I would love some insider information. So credit card, 6 months. Next, you want to work on the cars. Then you want to work on your loans. Let's say that takes you 2 years. Then His loans, I don't know how long that's going to take. Maybe another 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And then from there, that's going to help take off so much stress. Another thing to think about with your student loans. Did you take out private student loans or federal student loans? Because I'm going to guess, based off you saying they're in forbearance and not accruing interest, they are federal student loans. So $220,000 is a big chunk of change. Can your husband, since he's in the law field, can he pursue something like PSLF, the Public Student Forgiveness Waiver? Can he pursue something like that by working in a field for 10 years? Maybe he's already working in a field and just is unaware of it. That could be up for forgiveness at the end of 10 years of working in that field. Or can he be in like a repay or repayee program in which you can stay within the program making minimum payments for 20 to 25 years, at which point whatever is still accrued on that loan will be forgiven. We've done student loan podcasts before where I've gone through all of these at length. So I'd recommend going back and listening to those if none of that made sense to you. But there are ways to look at your debt and handle it smarter. Not right, not wrong, just smarter. This is the most important thing when it comes to debt. Contrary to popular belief, debt is not a moral failure. It's a math problem. Shame won't help pay off the loan, only action will. Shame does not help you create more action. It just takes you down, makes you feel depressed, and makes you feel, why should I even take action? You need to start working. You need to figure out what that value is to you. And for me, it sounds like you have one in your child. So from our listener, no, it's not too late. You're 30 years old. And at least you're thinking about it right now, because there are so many people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, who are just now waking up and trying to figure it out. How lucky are you that you're only in your 30s and you're now trying to figure out, how can I get this because of this little baby that's sitting in the crib, because I want to be home with them, because I want to give them the best life. Sometimes those big moments, death, child, moving, divorce, loss of a job, is the moment that we need to reflect, to wake up, to say, I want to make that change, and I'm going to be the change that I want to see in this world. So to our viewer, you got this. We believe in you. And I want to hear from you in 6 months with an update as to what's going on, and we'll read it on air, because that would be pretty cool.
Very cool. That'd be amazing. Well, I hope that helps. I hope you take action. And I hope that this is a kind of a telltale, sign for everybody. Make sure to pay attention to your finances and really believe in yourself and understand that, one of the things that you said, Chris, that I just want to touch on real quick that was really inspiring. They had a goal of 10 years. And you said, you know what? Let's shoot for the moon. Let's do it in 5. Let's shoot for 5, right? And the idea of that is so interesting because it's going to force them. It's like, well, we have half the time now. We got to double down even harder, right? I love that. I love that. And if you don't get it, you'll still be even closer, right? So shoot for the moon. Even if you don't hit the moon, still be amongst the stars. Love that. But with that being said, thank you for writing in. We appreciate you. And like Chris said, we hope to hear from you in about 6 months or so. So thank you. Next, we're going to be moving on to our...
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.